Here we are, what a beautiful day. We're on the south bank this time for a change. There should be a really low tide today, but the Thames is a fickle river, so it may not be as low as we hope. Anyway, let's see what turns up. Good thing about being a pottery hunter is you're bound to find something. Welcome back! There's the Millennium Bridge behind me. I'm on the south bank and I'm about to start searching for ancient pottery. That is a thick piece of clay. Might be from a Spanish oil jar, I'm guessing. 16th to 18th century. The bottom of a Victorian or maybe late Georgian stoneware bottle. It says Derby and Patentees, so it would be Bourne. Bourne would be the manufacturer. St Paul's. Southwark still famous after 400 years for all sorts of entertainment. Oh, have a look at this. It's actually a stone which has been carved. Difficult to date, I'm not sure, but I'm thinking post-medieval. Well, that's rather a nice find. Lots of bits of pottery here. Bristol glaze after 1830. Oh yeah, that's the base of a jam or marmalade one. Malling of Newcastle, that one would be. Well, it's half of something. I guess it's a lid. Stoneware. I guess Victorian in date. Interesting one, nevertheless. Another Malling jam jar or marmalade jar. I think the people of Southwark liked their preserves. Thick piece of glass that might come from a light, a deck light on a boat or ship, maybe. Really thick. Now there's the top half of a marmalade jar with the groove around the rim to secure a paper or wax paper lid top. The infamous Thames clipper, cause of much erosion. Thank you, clipper. something electrical made of enamelled porcelain or some such. A little bit. A lovely little bit of tile with a wheat ear on it. You can tell by the back that it's very modern, but it's very nice. I don't think this is going to get going anytime soon.
At me.
Such a nice find. Looks gold, but that's the sort of river brass. But I think it's a jeton.
Oh, I'm
but
pleased
it's got
with that.
the sort of design of a ship, like a gold noble.
Yeah.
But it's probably an early one, 15th or 16th century.
Oh, I'm so pleased with that. I found quite a few.
Some lovely old oak appearing from the foreshore. It is something, yeah, it's a lead token. It's really nice. These were made in their millions to, I suppose, a small change or tallies or counters, not really sure. But it's got a nice ray pattern on it and something on there. Another bit of lead. No design on it though. Lots of little pins and bits of brass and iron in this section, so I'll give it a quick scan. Liquid treasure. Oh, these look like the remains of wood or trees, sort of like peat. Must be very old. Yay! A coin. 10p. Wow, that's twice as much as I found anywhere today. Yay! $19.92. Well, it's amazing to think, with such a low tide, that I pretty much got the foreshore to myself today, apart from a few birds. London Bridge, Tower Bridge in the distance, but the weather's taken a turn for the worst, a bit windy and rainy. nice decorative piece of clay. No idea what it comes out of. But I'm thinking it's probably Victorian. That is rather a pretty piece. Rather a nice piece of Staffordshire type slipware. This would be late 17th century right through to early 19th century, making it one. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of slipware around here, and it's really very pretty. I mean, you can make some wonderful jewellery out of bits like this. And the sun's come out again, wonderful. Mud and twigs just below the low water line. Maybe a prehistoric foreshore. Maybe I'm the first person to step on this since the Bronze Age. Who knows? Well, I've been walking around for over an hour and haven't found much pottery, but here is a bit of Westerwald, German stoneware, probably 18th century. I'd think that's going to be the rim of a chamber pot with some nice blue cobalt glazing there. Can you spot a pipe? This is also 18th century. You can tell by the long stem. It would have had a very long stem and a tall bowl. And we can wind back a few hundred years more. It's a bit of medieval clay, Surrey whiteware, with a very reddish glaze on it. I suspect that comes from being heated in the kiln. So first bit of medieval for today, not too bad. A little bit of stoneware. I think it's probably Nottingham stoneware because it's got a little white zone between the glaze and the clay there. So it's probably 18th century. Well, it doesn't often get as low as this, where you can touch the first pier of the bridge. Well, I just rescued that from the waves, and it seems shaped like a whetstone. I can't think of any other reason why it would be that shape. So it's an interesting find, difficult to date of course. It might be possible to find out where the rock has come from. And here's another one. Now, is it just coincidence? Are they shaped like this? Are they eroded like that? Or is it actually a whetstone for sharpening blades? I'm not really sure. Appears to be a Jewish brick. Well, it's got the Star of David on it anyway. I'd really like that, but it's so heavy. I don't know if I can take it home. Oh, I'll give it a go. I'm going to take it home. make a useful paperweight, I suppose. Well, a nice piece of sugarcone mould, identifiable by the white patchy slip on the inside. So this could be anything from the 16th to the early 19th century, used for making cones of sugar. Did you find anything today? Anything come up? No food for you, sorry. A nice find, a bit of saga from tin glazed earthenware production. There were a lot of tin glazed earthenware of Delft pothouses in Southwark in the 17th and 18th centuries, so that's a welcome find. There might be some more tin glaze to be had off this foreshore today. Well, this is quite exciting. You can see everyone else has walked past. Beautiful bit of German salt glazed stoneware. Before the waves get it, I'm just going to pick it up. And that's a lovely crest from a Bartmann bottle, German stoneware, 17th, 18th century. So very happy with that. It's got like a stylised flower and a heart motif. So this will be the roundel from the belly of a Bartmann jug, and that is definitely the best bit of pottery that I have found all day. Now, these pieces are absolutely typical of post-medieval redware, which is quite difficult to date. Could be anything from the 16th to the 19th century. They're normally thick utility vessels for domestic, kitchen, industrial use. Red clay, glazed with brown or orangey, yellowy, green mottled glazes. So the older ones will have a grey core in that they're not fired to such a high temperature. These will be earlier, sort of 16th or 17th, maybe early 18th century at the latest. And there's a lot of it to be found here on the foreshore. Good morning, lovely sunny morning. Time for a wash up of the finds that we found on the south bank, the foreshore. Enigmatic carved stone. Very difficult to date something like that. It's got Thames Race in the carving, which is a sort of deposit, chemical deposit that builds up after a long time. So it must be several hundred years old. That's all I can say about that, really. Other stone finds, we had these stones which I figured might be whetstones, although a whetstone I found in the past has a hole drilled for suspension. But they do seem to be the sort of close-grained stones that you might sharpen your blades on, so I think they probably are whetstones. The little token there with the ray or web pattern on either side, there's a photo here which shows it a bit clearer. Little lead token, very common find, late medieval, post-medieval, not really sure. But I think I'm glad I did carry it home, because my star find is the brick. Now, done some research, I managed to find out that it's a blue brick, which is an engineering brick, a very hard brick, and it was made in West Bromwich by Peter and Samuel Wood and it roughly dates from the 1880s to about 1900. Now underneath the crud, in the middle of the Star of David symbol, there will be a W for wood. So I'm not convinced that it has any religious connotations. I think it was just their trademark that they used in their brick manufactory. So I'll be back to the foreshore soon. I've got another video coming up where I do a collaboration with the mother and daughter team Kit and Caboodlers. So that'll be coming out in a week or so. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for all your kind comments and for subscribing. Bye.